Hey there, I'm Dustin, and this is the Gay Group Relationships channel, where we talk about issues and ideas connected to gay group relationships. This video is one that I've been thinking about for quite a while. I think it's quite important, and so I've really been kind of mulling it over, and I'm going to stop procrastinating and make it today. So the idea of this is having core connections, and kind of as implied, these are things that everyone in the group might find important aspects of their lives that they can build a foundation with others on. And I think this is also kind of important because it is likely the way that people will be coming together for groups through shared interests and beliefs and things like this. And that way people are finding each other and finding others that have similarities and that they can form a group around that. One of the first things might be belief systems, whether that's religious beliefs or political beliefs or kind of beyond political, just general worldview. I think that might be kind of an important thing for people in the group to all have somewhat alignment on. And it would be nice to be able to form a group around something like that you all share common values and from something like your common beliefs. The idea of just kind of standards, they might not be religious beliefs or political standards. Something like people who have had problems with sobriety in the past or, substance abuse, that might be a standard that people that are all trying to live sober or, have overcome a challenge like that, that might be a cause for common connection that they could build a group around and, help each other stay strong and build each other from that. Kind of probably one of the most obvious ways as well would be hobbies, shared hobbies and interests. Whether that be sports or involvement in the arts, maybe games, board games, video games, that kind of thing. Interest in media, maybe something like gardening or, there's so many different options for hobbies that, and through people having spending time with somebody that they might meet others that have the similar interests, things they'd like to do with their time, and that might be a reason for coming together and forming a group around a hobby. Something like employment might be a common connection. I lived in Orlando for a long time, and I had a lot of friends who worked for Disney. When you have a big corporation like that, or working in a large corporation with a really massive office that might have different kind of activities that help people meet each other socially. It might be that employment is kind of the common connection for people at first. How about the idea of cultural background? Once again, that might be some of the things we talked about, but that might not apply any longer. Perhaps people that grew up in a certain area and have a kind of a connection with that, or a religion. Maybe they're not actively religious anymore, but those values they grew up with are still something that is part of their background culture that they value and want to connect with others around. It might be race or nationality. Those kinds of things kind of help people bond and understand each other. And so you can build a group around those kinds of things. Another thing might be common goals. Once again, that might be related to a hobby or education, something like this. Going to the same school and a bunch of friends that meet at the school, form a relationship from that. Or it might be those hobbies that people within a hobby, maybe you're part of a sports league and there's several people within the sports league that have certain goals that align with yours. And so within one group, you might find that your goals from that place moving forward are what might be the common connection or the bond between everyone in the group. And I think there are probably some common connections that might be problematic if that's something like vices, like people meet through drug use, or people that go out drinking all the time and they enjoy spending time with each other like that. It might cause those kinds of things might be a little less stable of a connection that might become problematic in the long run, or might be other traumas or kind of dysfunctions. Those kinds of things are not as likely to establish a long-term healthy connection between everyone in the group. That being said, these, everyone in the group having this, one common connector might not be necessary. It could be just several friends and each of them have overlapping interests. Maybe there's not one thing that all of them find in a common connector, but because they have the friendship and there are overlapping connectors between the different people, that could be a thing. So it doesn't need to be some single thing. Once again, that reminds me of the video about just one, that, it doesn't have to be just one thing. It might be multiple things, but it could be nice as well to have a single connector that really helps people establish the relationship together. That being said, I think I've said that a couple times in this video. I'm going to go on. A lot of times these things that attract people to each other will change in the long run. If you're in a sport that you all enjoy, and over time, someone might have some kind of a chronic injury that prevents them from doing that sport, and they no longer find enjoyment in that. Or, maybe someone's beliefs change significantly over time. So while the common connector might be what brings people together and helps them establish foundation, it doesn't necessarily have to be what helps them maintain over the long run. Because as the group spends time together, there will be memories and experiences that will grow to become core connections. And then as other things change in the people's lives in the group, they'll have the memories and the things that they've done together that build a common connection between them all. And so even as people change, there's still likely, in a group, if it's a monogamous relationship and they bonded over something very specific, and there's a significant change, especially I'm thinking of like a husband and wife. Once they have kids, a lot of times the mother's priorities change a lot, because she's having to take care of a kid, and maybe hobbies and things she enjoyed before she doesn't prioritize as much, and that might have been what connected her to her husband. But in a group situation, if there is something that kind of you all connected with, or it might just be someone else a couple people in the group that you connected with in one way, and then somebody moves away from that connection, it's likely that there will be others in the group that share other common interests or connections. And so I think that's one of the advantages of a group, is even as people change, there's likely more reasons to stick with the group, because there's other people that you can bond with and connect with, and as time changes and things vary, there's still enough options and variability within the group that people can be changing and adapting and still staying within that group and keeping the relationship strong. So that's the thought for this. I hope it's something to ponder. Are there any connections that you think are important for you? Feel free to share that in the comments. And, as always, if you found the video insightful or something that you found interesting, thumbs up are always appreciated. And feel free to subscribe. That's helps build this channel, and the connections of people, even discussing this idea, I think is very important for being able to kind of help this idea of group relationships go. So thank you very much for your time. See you later.